Hi guys, Vechs here. Welcome back to some more Minecraft mapping with Vechs. Now, no MC edit on today's episode. This is all taking place within Minecraft itself. This map is my dungeon making map, and I'm trying out a new system that I have flirted with before in the past. I'm making what are called dungeon cubes here, and I was doing something similar to this before where uh, I make areas that line up with other areas and then arrange them randomly in a grid system to generate at the time that was a random map. It was Dungeons of Vexmore. I don't even know if I released that to the public just because it was kind of, Joe Hills played it. But I'm doing this again, only instead of a map with dungeons, this is actually just making a dungeon within a map, and the dungeon's made out of these cubes. And what I've done here is I have a grid, and the grid goes 1 through 10 down the rows there, and then on the columns here are also numbered 1 through 10, and then the way I want this to work is going down the columns, the cubes are supposed to get more challenging, basically. They're designed to be, and what I mean by that is, for the most part, they have more natural spawning space as you go down. So a cube something in the 1 column is going to be fairly tame, where something in the 10 column might be more inclined to spawn lots of naturally spawned monsters. So now, as for the rows are each dedicated to something, a different type of cube. All right. So row number 1 is empty hallways with minimal decorations. Row number 2 is generic rooms, sitting areas, and patios. Oh, how do you guys like this? Like a vase is what I was trying to make. Like, this is supposed to be one thing here. It's like a big vase, and that's the top of it, but it's made out of a pot on top of a piece of clay. I'm trying to debate which color I like, but I think it looks kind of nice. And as we go down, we have, what do we got here? We got domestics, bedrooms, and barracks. And there's a visual cue on each row's like little label here. Just so I can glance at it and be like, oh, that's what's supposed to be there. Domestic storage, kitchens, and pantries. What's down here? Row number, what is this? 5? Row number 5 is military rooms, training, and armories. Row number 6 is wealthy rooms, royal bedrooms, and stuff like that. Stuff you'd find in the upper levels of a castle. This row is ruined rooms, collapsed areas, cracked brick. Number 8, what is this? This is going to be, I know what this is going to be: infested areas, spooky areas, crypts, graves, and tombs. And then number 10 is basically evil rooms, corrupted and infested demonic areas. Stuff. So, like, as far as the grid coordinates go, do you do the rows or columns first when you list it? 10? Like, if I say 6-4, what do I mean? Is it... Do I do the columns first or the rows first? I honestly don't know. Well, the columns, that is the X coordinate on the graph. And then this is the Y coordinate, up and down. So I'm pretty sure graphs are X and then Y. So 6-4 would be column 6, row number 4. So that would be this cube right here where my crosser is, that one right there. So what I plan to do is to take 2 D10s, that's 10-sided die for you guys not familiar with tabletop games. Take 2 D10s and roll them, or roll 1 D10 twice. Roll the X value, then roll the Y value, and that'll give me 1 through 10, and that'll give me the dungeon cube. And for each room, if I wanted to, I could roll a random coordinate. Now, I don't know if I'll do that, I might roll for what one to start with and then go naturally from there. Because as you see, these are designed to match and go together. And that's how I'm trying to design them. But, and I might not even really use, this is still an experimental thing. Uh, but anyway, let's take a look at some of the stuff I've designed so far. So here's 1-1. And this is just a basic stone hallway. This is probably the most plain one I've made. Only spawning areas are the floor here. This is going to be, what is this, 2-1? X and then Y? Yeah. So this is 2-1. This one, as you can see, there's more areas for things to spawn and fall down on your head. The reason I have these just redstone lamps stuck up there like that is that in MC Edit I can find and replace off lamps with on lamps, and they'll stay on until they get a block update. So I don't actually have to power these lamps to turn them on. I can turn them on in MC Edit. And doing so, I'm designing it that turning them on will make the area easier. As you can see, if they were on, it would illuminate. I'll just go ahead and show you. If this lamp gets turned on, it illuminates that top area, which shuts down the spawning up there. So if all the lamps are turned on in here, this area gets easier. Boop. So this is a way for me to experiment with different building styles inspired by the base block. And it's also a way if I want to maybe even invite, close friends or people I know to come design a cube as like a guest. They can do that. And I had, here's one over here. A friend of mine designed this cube. So I think that looks pretty cool. It's just a way for me to spread my wings a bit, because I've been criticized before because my building style is not cool enough, basically. So this is a way I can just, in a very focused area, just try a new architectural style. I will say I am in love with, I made this one. Tell you what, I'll just assume I made the cube unless I tell you that somebody else made it. I am in love with the way stone brick, polished andesite, and chiseled stone brick looks together. Doesn't that look good? I think it looks great. And let's go see another one. What else do I have for you today? Oh, also polished granite along with polished andesite. I think this looks really good too. And this is jungle wood planks here. And then up here we have, this is actually brown stained glass, and I think it matches really well. Let me stick down a torch so you can see. I'll light it up for you. Boop. I think this looks really good together. And this will also help give me ideas for decoration on the Minecraft server. This lets me experiment and see what stuff looks like together without going through all the effort of actually harvesting the significant amount of resources that would be required to make some of this stuff. Especially tracking down these specific blocks, because you never know when you'll find large pockets of them, and I'd have to go into new areas. I really like this area. I made this. A friend of mine suggested these little tiny. I felt like that's what it used to look like, and I was like, it needs some little tiny thing extra on it. And my friend said, "How about yeah?" And I was like, "That is genius. I love it." It has a very Legend of Zelda feel to it. You know, in the first Legend of Zelda, when you go in the temples and you walk in the door, and it looks almost like kind of like a face with like little ears or horns sticking up in Legend of Zelda for the NES. Or actually, Link to the Past had them too. but it gives me that kind of vibe. But polished granite with hardened clay, not dyed. Polished granite, hardened clay, and quartz looks great together too. This color scheme here, I really love the way this looks. Going on up. Another one I found. Sandstone Slabs. These are double smooth sandstone half slabs. What is the actual name of it? Double stone slab, data value 9, seamless true, variant sand. I've called these double smooth sandstone half slabs. Double smooth sandstone half slabs. You cannot get these in the game. If you try to pick these in creative, it gives you these. So you must use MC Edit to get these, which makes working with this kind of annoying when it's like, basically I'd have to place, say, I don't know, like do something like put down a sponge in creative mode if I'm in the game, and then find and replace sponges with double smooth sandstone half slab in MC Edit once I'm done to convert them all. Just using the sponge as a marker block. But red stained clay with double smooth sandstone half slabs. That's so long to say. Lightly fried fish fillets. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Double smooth sandstone half slabs. But yeah, redstone clay with double smooth sandstone half slabs looks really good. I like the way that looks. It makes the sandstone pop out, and then up here is a little area for stuff to spawn and fall on you, again with the optional easy mode lights. What happens now if I turn this on with things to the side? I know it's going to block some of the light. Oh. No, it really doesn't block much light at all. Okay, that's great. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Alrighty. Oh, I'm proud of this one. I really like the way. This one caught me by surprise. This room is polished diorite with lapis lazuli blocks, with chiseled stone bricks, with blue stained glass. And look at that. This would be great for a magic theme area, like a mysterious area, or an ice themed dungeon without actually using ice. I was concerned that the polished diorite texture would be too busy, but when paired with the very smooth lapis lazuli block, I think it looks really good. This one, I really didn't expect much from the polished diorite, but I was like, yeah, this looks pretty good together. And is that it? Oh, no. Next up on our list, we have going back to basic stone, because most of these are going to be basic stone, but there's a few variations. This room is basic stone brick with cyan stained clay. It really doesn't look blue though, does it? Yeah, stone brick, cyan clay with lime clay. And I think this color scheme looks pretty good. The green with the gray. And it helps break up the stone brick and give the room a little bit of splash of color. But all of these here are basically open hallways that would be, copied and pasted together as you wander around. I did it similarly in Waking Up. There was a dungeon like that. It was a modular dungeon where every hallway section was the same, and I really liked the feeling it gave the player. Like you're kind of like a maze-like feeling, or do you remember in I'll reference Zelda again, when you're going through some of those areas and every screen is similar and you have to go through it in a certain pattern to get through. If you ever played the first Legend of Zelda. But yeah, it was like that. And is that it? Is this the last one? Yeah, for now. Oh, I copied and pasted this one that my friend made into the quartz room. And I think this looks great. A really nice pattern with the obsidian and the quartz. And also plenty of areas up above for monsters to spawn. And I love this inlaid ceiling here. It looks fantastic. What else for today's episode? I think that's it. Oh, there's one area that I would also like to show off. And while I'm flying there, let me know in the comments what you think of this idea. I'm kind of excited by it. It definitely gives me something like each cube is its own self-contained project. Yeah, these, let's start from the very beginning over here. These are the like patios and generic like rooms and areas. This one's a fountain, or maybe not a fountain, maybe some sort of water pillar. This is one my friend made, and I think it looks good. I love it. Looks really cool. I was the one who did the top up here though, because we originally this was hovering in midair, and I was like, I'm going to follow a policy where all the blocks have to obey gravity and not have any hovering blocks. So it had to be attached to the ceiling, and it turns out that the iron bars here looked pretty good. And also, this turns it into a monster trap, actually. Any monster that gets in this water pillar will try to swim up because they don't know how to swim down. And they will swim up here and then be trapped, and they'll try to swim up forever in this little cage. And they'll be trapped inside here. So if there's a spawner nearby, the player could use this to turn it into a form of a grinder. Already seen this room. Let's see. Yeah, I love this room. I'm usually not a fan of brick, of just plain old brick, red brick. But in this case, I think it looks great. Red stained clay, polished andesite. Very cool. And the green vines make the red on the brick pop out. This is another room that a friend designed. And then in here we have like a library room. Had a heck of a time with the central pillar. Originally it was ladders here on the bookshelves, but I didn't like the way the ladders looked on the bookshelves. And it was supposed to be like one of those ladders that's on a rail that moves along the bookshelf, if you've ever seen those in a library. But I just the texture of the books underneath the ladder, it just looks like a kind of a garbled mess. But also, monsters couldn't get up it, and I wanted the monsters to be able to pathfind up here and get at the player should the player be on the second level. That was something that was important to me. I did the wooden supports. Yeah, another really cool room. Alrighty, I think that's it for this episode. Yeah, that's it for now. But I will. Don't bother asking. I don't. I'm still not doing collabs as far as mapping goes, but for something like this, where it's just like, one room, or design a few rooms with friends or something, that's fine with me. Because that's not the actual map. Those are pieces that could be used in a map in the future. So that's a bit different than doing collabs. Because people have asked me before in the past if I'll ever do mapping collabs, and I'm like, nope, I just don't want to. I don't like the idea of scheduling with another person and being on a timetable with them. If I wanted to take a break from the map, I would feel very guilty making them stop too, or not pulling my weight, or if they wanted to take a break but I wasn't really in the mood to continue working. There's just too much, and it puts you. I would feel like a collab would make it more into work, whereas when I do it by myself, it's just a hobby I do for fun. But I'm not accepting requests to make like dungeon rooms or anything, so don't bother asking. This is an invitation only thing. But yeah, I hope this will, if nothing else, this has already been a great positive thing because it's resulted in architectural styles. Like, I can look at some of these cubes and be like, okay, these 3 or 4 blocks go amazing together. I should make an area using these blocks and expand upon this basic design. These could almost be like, you know how when you have a paint color and you have swatches of the paint when you go into like a home supply store, home building supply store like Home Depot or Lowe's, and they have swatches and paint samples. Well, these are basically samples of dungeon architecture that I could use. And they're all here. So if I'm like, I want to make a dungeon, what should I do inside of it? I can come in here and look at one of these, and I can come in and land and be like, oh, okay. I could use polished granite, hardened clay, quartz, and this is what it looks like all put together, and I can make a dungeon, based on these 3 blocks. So even if I don't actually use these cubes themselves, I can use the style. And that's what I've gained from this so far already, and I think it's been really great. It's given me a lot of ideas as far as builds on the Minecraft server too, because I mean, these are just architectural styles. They don't have to be dungeons per se. That too looks so derpy. I need to fix that. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. This is a new experimental thing, so tell me what you think about it in the comments, and I will see y'all next video. Until then, take it easy.